In a world obsessed with chasing money, status, and validation from others, people forget the single most powerful investment that outshines them all: yourself. Stocks can crash, currencies can devalue, businesses can fail. But the growth you create within yourself never loses value. Yet most people treat their own mind, body, and character with neglect, while pouring energy into things they cannot control. That's weakness. The truth is simple. Your health, your skills, your mindset, and your discipline are the foundation upon which every fortune, every relationship, every success must stand. If you ignore yourself, you will forever depend on others for scraps. But if you sharpen yourself, the world cannot deny your value. This is not about comfort. It is about power. To invest in yourself is to rise above mediocrity, to train your mind like a weapon, and to mold your life into something extraordinary. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for the right time. The right time is now. Because the harsh reality is, if you do not invest in yourself, the world will use you as a tool for someone else's dream. People talk a lot about money, about investments, about where to put their savings, about which stock will rise or which company will fail. And it's good to understand those things. It's good to play the game of money. But let me tell you something far more powerful, something that pays interest long after the stock market closes. The greatest compound interest you'll ever experience in life is the knowledge you put inside your own mind. Because here's the truth. Nobody can tax it. Nobody can steal it. Nobody can take it away from you. If you lose your money, you can make it back. If you lose your possessions, you can buy them again. But if you lose your knowledge, you lose the very foundation on which everything else is built. Knowledge is the kind of investment that pays you back every single day, in every single decision, in every single relationship. And the fascinating thing about knowledge is that it works exactly like compound interest. You don't see the big results right away. You read a book and maybe nothing changes that night. You listen to a lecture and maybe you feel inspired, but you don't see the impact in your bank account tomorrow. But if you keep going, day after day, page after page, idea after idea, the small insights start to stack. And over time, they don't just add up. They multiply. One idea connects to another, and suddenly you have a breakthrough. Suddenly you see an opportunity that everyone else missed. Suddenly you're making decisions with confidence because your mind has been trained for it. That's why some people seem lucky. They walk into a room and opportunities just fall into their lap. But it isn't luck. It's preparation. It's the quiet work of learning when no one was watching. It's the countless hours spent investing in their own growth. When the right moment came, they were ready. The people who didn't invest in knowledge couldn't even recognize the opportunity when it showed up. That's the difference. You see, if you plant the seeds of knowledge today, tomorrow you reap the harvest of wisdom. But if you neglect your mind, if you let the weeds of ignorance grow, if you waste your time on empty distractions, then when life brings you an opportunity, you won't be strong enough to take it. And that's the tragedy. People wait for their big break, but when it finally arrives, they are unprepared. I've met people who lost their businesses, lost their fortunes, lost almost everything they owned. But because they had invested in their mind, they built it all back again, sometimes bigger than before. And I've also met people who inherited wealth, but without knowledge, without discipline, without the ability to make wise decisions. They lost it all in no time. That's how powerful this is. The question you have to ask yourself is simple. What are you doing every day to grow your mind? Are you reading the books that challenge you? Are you surrounding yourself with conversations that stretch your thinking? Are you taking the time to reflect on your own mistakes, to learn from your own failures? Because failure is only a tragedy if you don't learn from it. If you learn, then failure becomes tuition. It becomes part of your compound interest. And here's something else to consider. Knowledge gives you confidence, not arrogance. Confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing you've prepared, knowing you've studied, knowing you've put in the work. When you walk into a meeting with that kind of confidence, people feel it, they trust it, they follow it. And that turns into leadership, into influence, into results. Don't get me wrong, knowledge alone isn't enough. You've got to take action with it, apply it, test it, live it. But without knowledge, your actions are blind. Without knowledge, your energy is wasted. The world is full of people running fast in the wrong direction, simply because they didn't take the time to learn. But when you invest in yourself, when you gain clarity, when you sharpen your perspective, then every step you take moves you closer to your vision. So start today. Read the books, listen to the great thinkers, ask the hard questions, pay attention to the lessons life is giving you. Don't just be a consumer of entertainment. Be a student of life. Because knowledge doesn't just pay you back. It transforms you. It gives you the tools to build, rebuild, and outlast every challenge. And when the storms come, and they will come, it's not your possessions that will save you. It's your preparation, your wisdom, your knowledge. That's the kind of wealth no one can steal. That's the compound interest that makes you rich for a lifetime. And some people smile politely when they hear that. Like it's just another nice little saying. But let me tell you, this is not a slogan, it's a law of life. Because no matter how sharp your mind is, no matter how many skills you've built, no matter how much money you've stacked, if your body is broken, if your health is falling apart, you cannot sustain it. A weak body drags down even the strongest ideas. Think about it. You could have the mind of a genius, the creativity of a visionary. But if you wake up every morning exhausted, in pain, overweight, with no energy, what good is that genius? What good is that vision? You can't execute it. You can't endure the grind that success demands. Because success isn't just built in moments of inspiration. It's built in long hours, in late nights, in early mornings, in the stamina to push further than others. And that stamina is born in your body. Discipline in fitness isn't about vanity. It's not about looking good for a selfie. It's about power. It's about showing yourself every single day that you are in control. That when your body screams for comfort, you can demand effort. That when laziness whispers in your ear, you can choose movement. That kind of discipline bleeds into every area of your life. If you can control your body, you can control your schedule, your habits, your emotions, your results. And here's the fascinating thing. When you take care of your body, your mind sharpens. There's a direct link. Physical strength and mental strength reinforce each other. The person who trains their body learns endurance. They learn consistency. They learn to push past pain. And those are the same qualities that carry you through tough times in business, in relationships, in leadership. You want confidence? Start by keeping the promises you make to yourself in the gym, on the track, in the kitchen. Confidence is built when you prove to yourself that you're not a slave to weakness. But most people make the same mistake. They sacrifice their health to chase success. They say, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to eat right. I'm too busy building my business. I'm too busy making money. And then one day they wake up rich in the bank, but bankrupt in their body. And all that money goes to hospitals, to pills, to treatments, just to buy back a little bit of what they wasted. Don't let that be you. Don't trade decades of vitality for a few years of grind. Build both at the same time. Because if you lose your health, you lose the very platform that allows you to enjoy success. I've seen it happen again and again. Someone who was brilliant, ambitious, unstoppable, until their body broke down. Suddenly they couldn't perform. Suddenly they were distracted by illness, by fatigue, by pain, and everything else collapsed. On the other hand, I've seen people who didn't start with much talent, but they took care of their body, they built discipline, they trained daily. And that discipline translated into business, into relationships, into every area of life. They outlasted the talented ones because they had the stamina to keep going. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. You don't need to run marathons, but you do need to move. You do need to eat like your body is your vehicle, not your trash can. You do need to build habits that keep you strong, not habits that slowly destroy you. Because every choice you make is either building energy or draining it. And energy is the real wealth. With energy, you can create, you can inspire, you can lead, you can endure. Without energy, everything falls flat. So the question is simple. Are you investing in your body the same way you invest in your bank account? Are you putting in the daily deposits of discipline? Or are you letting your body slide into debt? Because unlike money, you only get one body. There are no replacements, no refunds. Treat your body like the priceless asset it is. Train it. Fuel it. Respect it. Because when your body is strong, your mind is clear, your confidence is unshakable, and your stamina is endless. That's wealth. That's power. That's freedom. It's written in your mindset. The difference between those who rise and those who collapse under pressure is not talent, not money, not even opportunity. It's the way they think. The world doesn't bow to excuses. The world bows to resilience, to courage, to those who stand tall when everyone else bends. Most people spend their lives chasing comfort. They want the easy way, the quick fix, the smooth road. But here's the truth. Comfort destroys potential. Comfort weakens you. Comfort makes you soft. And when life throws its storms, and life always throws storms, comfort offers no protection. What shields you in those moments is grit. Grit is the armor. Grit is the fire inside that refuses to quit when the odds are stacked high. You can't build grit in a life of luxury. You build grit by facing challenges, by walking into discomfort, by deliberately choosing the harder path. Every time you choose to push through when it's tough, you're forging resilience. Every time you refuse to accept excuses, you're shaping a destiny of strength. That's why setbacks are not curses. They are training. Every failure is a test. Every disappointment is a lesson. And those who adopt the right mindset see obstacles not as barriers but as stepping stones. I've seen people with incredible resources crumble because their mindset was weak. The moment things went wrong, they folded. They blamed circumstances, blamed others, blamed luck. Excuses may win you sympathy, but they will never win you victory. On the other hand, I've seen people with nothing but determination rise to heights no one believed possible. They didn't wait for the perfect chance. They didn't beg for things to get easier. They trained their mind to get stronger. That's the secret. Don't wish for an easy life. Wish for a strong mind. Because with a strong mind, you can carry any burden. With a strong mind, you can endure what others cannot. With a strong mind, you create destiny instead of waiting for it. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you don't struggle. It means you refuse to be defeated by it. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite fear. The world respects that. The world rewards that. Because leadership, greatness, influence, they are not born from ease. They are born from a mindset forged in fire. Ask yourself, when life hits me hard, do I crumble or do I rise? When excuses whisper in my ear, do I give in or do I shut them down? Because every time you accept an excuse, you surrender a piece of your destiny. But every time you resist, you reclaim power. Mindset is not just about what you think. It's about what you believe about yourself. If you believe you are a victim, you will live as a victim. If you believe you are limited, you will remain limited. But if you believe you are capable, if you believe you can endure, if you believe you can rise, then your actions will align and your future will follow. That's how destiny is shaped. Not by chance, but by choice. So stop feeding weakness. Stop feeding excuses. Stop feeding the desire for comfort. Feed your grit. Feed your courage. Feed your resilience. Train your mind every single day like a muscle. Because the battles of life are not won by those who complain the loudest, but by those who endure the longest. Remember this. The world doesn't care about your excuses, but it respects your strength. Cultivate the mindset that refuses to quit. And you'll find that doors open, opportunities appear, and destiny bends in your favor. Grit builds legacies. Courage builds empires. And excuses, they build nothing. They say, he was lucky. She just got a break. They were in the right place at the right time. And maybe that's true sometimes. But let me tell you something. Luck without skill is wasted. Opportunities pass through the hands of the unprepared, like water through a sieve. It's not luck that changes lives. It's the skills you've sharpened that allow you to catch that luck and turn it into something real. Think about it. Two people can face the same opportunity. One rises and the other fails. What's the difference? It's not the opportunity. It's not the environment. It's not even fate. The difference is skill. One person prepared, studied, practiced, built their craft. The other hoped luck would do the work for them. And when the door opened, one walked through with confidence, the other stumbled and fell. Opportunities don't go to the dreamers. They go to the doers. They go to the people who grind, who learn, who put in the hours to master something. Because when life tests you, and it always tests you, you don't get graded on your intentions. You get graded on your abilities. The market doesn't care about what you meant to do. It cares about whether you can deliver. That's why skills beat luck every single time. Skills are permanent assets. If you know how to build, how to sell, how to communicate, how to lead, those skills can carry you across industries, across decades, across any environment. Money can be lost. Luck can fade, but skill stays with you, ready to create again and again. That's why some people go bankrupt and then bounce back stronger. They still have the skills, and others win the lottery and lose it all, because they never built the skills to manage it. Luck favors the prepared. That means if you want luck on your side, you can't sit back and wait. You've got to get ready. You've got to be sharpening your tools every day, even when no opportunity is in sight. You've got to be learning when no one is watching, practicing when no one is applauding, preparing when no one is calling your name. Because when your name is finally called, you won't have time to prepare. You either show up ready or you miss the moment. And here's the truth. People who look lucky are almost always just better prepared. The athlete who makes the impossible play in the final seconds wasn't lucky. They practiced that move 1,000 times. The entrepreneur who suddenly exploded with success wasn't lucky. They built skills for years in silence until the right idea connected. The speaker who captivates an audience wasn't lucky. They studied, failed, refined, and practiced their craft over and over. What looks like luck from the outside is almost always skill plus preparation meeting opportunity. So don't wait for luck. Earn it. Build your skills so sharp that when the moment comes, you can't miss. If you want better opportunities, become better yourself. Learn new things, practice your craft, stretch your abilities. Because the market always rewards value, and value is born out of skill. The danger is this. People hope for luck as a substitute for discipline. They hope someone will discover them, rescue them, give them a break. But no one is coming. And even if they did, without skill, you'd lose it just as fast as you got it. The shortcut mentality kills more dreams than failure ever will. You don't need shortcuts. You need mastery. So here's the mindset. Don't pray for luck. Prepare for it. Don't wish for opportunity. Work so hard that opportunity can't ignore you. Every skill you sharpen today is a door that will open tomorrow. Every hour you invest in learning is another blade in your arsenal when life throws its battles at you. Because in the end, life doesn't reward the lucky, it rewards the prepared. Build your skills so relentlessly that when luck finally knocks, you don't just open the door, you own the house. Rich or poor, genius or fool, powerful or powerless, every single one of us gets the same 24 hours in a day. No one gets a bonus hour. No one gets to borrow from tomorrow. Time is the currency of life. And here's the harsh truth. Waste your time and you waste your life. Control your hours and you control your future. People talk about money management, but money lost can be earned again. Time lost is gone forever. Every minute you spend, you're making a trade. You're exchanging a piece of your life for whatever you're doing. Scroll mindlessly on your phone. That's a piece of your life gone. Gossip about people who don't matter. Another piece gone. Sit around waiting for motivation instead of taking action. Gone. The clock doesn't stop. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait for you to get serious. And here's what separates winners from the rest. Winners understand that time is power. If you control your time, you control your results. If you waste it, you give away your power. That's why discipline with time is not optional. It's survival. Some people say, I don't have time. That's a lie. Everyone has time. The truth is, they haven't prioritized. They've given their hours away to things that don't matter, and then they wonder why their future doesn't change. The person who says, I don't have time to work out, spends 3 hours in front of a TV. The person who says, I don't have time to read, wastes 5 hours on social media. The problem isn't time, it's choices. And choices shape destiny. What you do with your hours today decides the kind of life you will live tomorrow. You can either invest your time into growth, learning, building, relationships, or you can spend it on distractions, complaints, and comfort. One path creates power, the other path creates regret. Time management is really power management. If you know how to direct your hours with precision, you multiply your impact. You build momentum. You get things done that other people only dream about. If you don't, you scatter your energy across meaningless activities, and you end up tired but empty. Ever meet people who are busy all the time but never achieve anything? That's poor time management. They mistake movement for progress, but progress requires intentional focus. Here's the key. Plan your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. Guard your mornings. Own your evenings. Fill your days with priorities, not just activities. Learn to say no to the wrong things, so you can say yes to the right ones. Because every yes to something small is a no to something great. And let me warn you, time thieves are everywhere. Some are obvious, endless entertainment, mindless scrolling, meaningless arguments. But some are disguised, meetings that go nowhere. People who waste your energy, obligations that don't align with your purpose. You have to be ruthless with your time. Ruthless because no one will protect it for you. If you don't respect your own hours, no one else will. When you control your time, you create freedom. You free yourself to do the work that matters, to spend time with people who matter, to live a life that matters. And when you waste your time, you handcuff yourself to mediocrity. That's why the successful and the unsuccessful are separated not by intelligence, not by luck, but by how they use the same 24 hours. So stop saying, I don't have time. Start saying, it's not my priority, because that's the truth. And if your dreams aren't your priority, then don't expect them to become your reality. The clock is ticking. Whether you act or not, every day is either moving you closer to your goals or further away. Every hour is either building your future or stealing it. Take control. Be ruthless. Master your time. And you master your life. About connections, about finding the right people. They want mentors, investors, partners, supporters, and that's good. People matter. Relationships matter. But here's the real secret. Network starts with self-worth, because if you don't invest in yourself, if you don't carry value, if you don't believe in your own vision, then no network in the world can save you. The right people aren't attracted to weakness. They're attracted to strength. They're not drawn to desperation. They're drawn to conviction. Have you noticed how the most magnetic people are not the ones begging for attention? They're not chasing, they're not pleading, they're not trying to convince everyone. They're focused, disciplined, confident. They know who they are, they know what they stand for, and that energy is what pulls others in. That comes from self-worth. When you invest in your mind, your health, your skills, your discipline, you raise your value. And when your value rises, people notice. You don't have to scream for attention. Your presence speaks for you. Too many people get it backward. They think, if only I meet the right people, if only I get the right connection, then my life will change. Wrong. The right people are not looking for someone to rescue. They're looking for someone who can run beside them, contribute, add value. And if you haven't invested in yourself, you have nothing to bring to the table. That's why the foundation of every powerful network is self-worth. Think about it. When you don't believe in yourself, you shrink. You undervalue your ideas. You settle for less. You tolerate disrespect. And the kind of people you attract reflect that. You draw in users, energy drainers, people who see your lack of worth and exploit it. But when you build yourself up, when you believe in your vision, when you radiate confidence, you repel the wrong people and attract the right ones. It's like gravity. Strong energy pulls strong people. I've seen it time and again. Someone invests in their growth. They learn, they build discipline, they sharpen their purpose, and suddenly, the people around them change. Doors open, invitations appear, conversations that were impossible before now flow naturally. Why? Because people recognize value, and value respects value. It's not about faking confidence. It's about doing the work that makes confidence real. When you know you've prepared, when you know you've invested, when you know you've built something solid inside yourself, you don't need to fake it. You walk into the room differently. You speak differently. And people respond differently. Here's the truth. You don't find a powerful network. You build yourself into someone a powerful network wants to find. That's the difference. Stop chasing people and start building yourself. The stronger your foundation, the stronger the people you will naturally attract. And let me tell you, relationships built on self-worth are the ones that last. If you show up weak, you'll always depend on others to carry you, and eventually they'll let go. But if you show up strong, you create partnerships, not dependencies. You create respect, not pity. You create collaboration, not exploitation. So don't ask, where are the right people? Ask, am I the right person? Don't ask, why won't they support me? Ask, have I invested enough in myself that I bring something worth supporting? Because the network you dream of is waiting for the person you are becoming. When you invest in yourself, your energy shifts, your vision sharpens, your confidence grows, and that more than business cards or social events is what draws the right people into your life. They feel it, they see it, they trust it, and they want to be part of it. So start there. Build your self-worth like your life depends on it. Because it does. Grow yourself until you can walk into any room and know you belong. When you do that, the network will find you. Fortunes rise and fall. Markets shift. Currencies crash. Opportunities appear and disappear. But discipline is the one currency that never loses its value. Discipline compounds into unstoppable results. If you have discipline, you can rebuild, you can recover, you can reinvent. Without discipline, even the greatest fortune will slip through your fingers. Look around. How many people win big and then lose it all? Lottery winners, athletes, celebrities. They get millions overnight, but without discipline, it vanishes. Because money can multiply only in the hands of someone disciplined enough to manage it, protect it, and grow it. On the other side, look at those who start with nothing. Through discipline, they grind, they save, they learn, they repeat the right actions day after day. And sooner or later, they build empires. The difference isn't luck. The difference isn't inheritance. The difference is discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what you should do, even when you don't feel like it. It's the ability to stay on course when distractions scream for your attention. It's the ability to delay short-term pleasure for long-term power. That is the true wealth. Because anyone can be motivated for a day. Anyone can be inspired for a week. But discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the quitters from the winners, the weak from the unstoppable. And here's the beauty of discipline. It compounds. At first, the results are small. You get up early one day, you work out once. You study for an hour, you save a little money. It doesn't look like much, but discipline stacks. Do it again tomorrow, and again the next day, and again the next week. Suddenly, the small actions that felt insignificant have built unstoppable momentum. Discipline turns habits into power, and power into results. Without discipline, even the best opportunities go to waste. You can have knowledge, health, mindset, skills, and even the right network. But if you can't show up consistently, if you can't follow through, if you can't hold yourself accountable, it all collapses. Discipline is the glue that binds everything together. It's the engine that drives all other investments forward. And let me tell you, discipline is rare. Most people quit too soon. Most people surrender to comfort. Most people give in when it hurts. But those who refuse, those who hold the line, those who show up every single day, regardless of mood or circumstance, they separate themselves from the crowd. Because talent is common. Intelligence is common. Ideas are common. Discipline is uncommon. And that's why it's the ultimate currency. The disciplined person doesn't need to rely on motivation. They don't need luck. They don't need perfect conditions. They don't need handouts. They create progress regardless of the weather, regardless of the noise, regardless of how they feel. That's why you can trust a disciplined person. That's why you can build with them, follow them, believe in them, because they're not carried by emotion. They're carried by principle. Ask yourself, are you disciplined enough to build what you say you want? Are you disciplined enough to keep going when no one's watching, when no one's applauding, when no one cares? Because that's the test. The results you want are waiting on the other side of your discipline. Not your wishes, not your excuses, not your temporary motivation, your discipline. So make discipline your currency. Spend it daily. Invest it wisely. Let it compound over years until the results are so massive. People call you lucky, not realizing it was discipline all along. Because in the end, money will come and go, But discipline will make sure you can always create more. Discipline will protect your health, your mindset, your skills, your time, your network. Discipline is the foundation, the multiplier, the safeguard. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is power. Discipline is wealth that no one can ever take away. The greatest empires are not built on land, gold, or power. They are built on men and women who first invested in themselves. Every breakthrough, every success, every legacy begins with a single decision to stop being average and to sharpen your own edge. Remember this, the world rewards those who rise above the ordinary. Invest in yourself relentlessly, because you are the only asset that can never be stolen, destroyed, or replaced.